What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is Monday. Man, you guys are tough in the comments. It's like, this is a pop culture show, everybody. It's a pop culture show. So from my comedic background, comedy, I want to know the rules as far as taking pictures in the theater, what you can do, what you can't, because adult film actress, or former rather, Lisa Ann was arrested at Matt Rife show in New York. And the question is why? So, yeah, I don't just talk about movies and TV. Sorry. Talk about things that I think are interesting, and I think this is an interesting conversation to have. So if you're you're looking and you say, yeah, make videos about anything these days. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this because this is important especially as far as comedy shows go. So kindly stick your finger in your hiney and go twirl around outside. Speaking of other things, the WWE. This is the reason why Rocha and I this weekend were going back and forth on this and saying we both were like, there's a lot going on with The Rock and Cody Rhodes, and you saw it all over. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, you can't miss what's going on right now. And I think it's good publicity. And there's other things, and I haven't really talked to John in depth about this, but I've certainly seen his takes. He did a video on it yesterday for a bit. I did mine, and then we're going to talk about like where it goes, if there's going to be any changes because of the pushback. Are they going to go forward? How we feel about it overall. So we'll have a full discussion on that. And then guess what, guys? We're going to do movie news because that's what a lot of the times we do on the show. So take it easy. God, one guy really annoyed me in the comments beforehand. I'm sorry. Silly.
Well, talk about anything these days.
So anyway, there's other things that are going on. The box office. Argylle didn't do that well, guys. And we kind of knew that was coming. Going to give some love to the late, great Carl Weathers. Talk about him. And that one was tough. That one was tough. No, I'm not doing this today. Go away. Tell me what to do. Not in that mood today. It's fucking raining here. I'm here, but calm down and just shut your asses. Just watch the fucking show. That's what we're doing today. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk about things. God, people. What's wrong with these people? I think because I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm last night. That's probably why. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about Carl Weathers. I want to talk about Avatar. James Cameron talked about it. There's other stuff. There's video games things too. With Uncharted might do a remake. I don't know. It's weird. I'm gonna see. Anyway, a lot to talk about with myself and John Rocha. If you're brand new to the channel and you've never been here before, please hit that button. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that button. We're trying to get to 200,000 faster than we got to 100. We're at 123,000, approaching 124. But we need you guys to hit that button. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. It is the big thing. Let's do it. Me, John Rocha, live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the big thing today, live show. If you're new to the channel, like I said, hit the button. If not, leave your comments, do all that stuff. Today, joining me as always on Mondays, the one and only John Rocha. What's
Hello.
up? Yeah, what's going on?
I mean, pornography. Am I right? Come on.
It's so silly. I was like, because I saw that because this is a thing that we'll actually go into depth on this one. As far as like people. What happened was that I saw this morning, and I'll show you what I saw first, and then we'll actually talk about the story itself. And this is what I was going through and said, recommended Lisa Ann. I'm like, okay, yeah, why not?
Why not?
And she
thought she was retired. Yeah,
right. But she is retired, John. And this is what she posted. She said, "This is not a bit. I was arrested, and this is the actual video."
I did nothing wrong. I didn't touch my phone. I wanted to see Matt Rife. He's a friend of mine, and I go to jail.
That's how I left Mark Ellis's last comedy show. That's exactly how they took me out.
How you left Collider?
Fuck you! Fuck you! That's not how I left Collider. Go ahead.
But either way, I saw that, and I was like, I go, okay, what did she do? And from all reports,
Yeah.
it just did it do that stupid thumbs up thing again?
You're frozen, bud. Yeah, I sent you the stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't work just to Zoom. You got to do it through.
Oh.
You got. Let me see if I can do it here. Hold on. Let's see. Reactions. I turn them. All right. So you talk to the audience for a second. I'll be right back.
I will. Yeah, guys, you guys got to lighten up. Like, we all do it. Everybody, a lot of people watch it. Oh, wow. I'm off on this. I just rearranged my entire office so that all my bookcases and stuff could be together. So this is the first Monday. So I'm still getting the camera correct. But yeah, guys, relax. It's just, it's a natural form of things that people do in life. It's, you guys will live through it, for God's sake.
Well, look, we also, as I said, I saw a bunch of the super chats come in, and we'll link to them for sure. Well, at the very end of the show, after we talk about everything going on here, we will make sure, no matter what, is what we do every week, that we get all the questions in. So I already saw people firing them in there. Much appreciated. Throw them in there, and we will get to them at the end of the show. So yeah, John, I saw this video that she posted, and I was like, this is important to talk about. And as far as the contrary to people saying, going, why are you leading with this? This is a movie show, because it's very important as far as entertainment goes with why she was thrown out. Right.
Yeah,
and it's
like the whole story. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
The rules of certain comedy shows, certain places, is that if you have your phone, you tape any part of the show of anything, they'll kick you out. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of anybody get arrested for
Oh,
doing that.
that's New York, man.
But dude, in New York, it's like more.
Oh yeah, you would know better than me. Yeah.
It's like, well, why'd they get arrested? Well, at first they were like, swinging baseball bats, but then he said, "Fuck your mother." And you can't do that.
Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, right. So I don't get it, because I think this is first of all, let me start with this. I love the rule.
Yeah.
That at comedy shows, at any type of show, you pick up your phone, you're out.
Yeah,
I think they should do it in movies. I think they should do it in
100%,
movies. You're out.
You should go to jail. Yeah.
So I don't know about going to jail, but as far as
me.
But I'll tell you what I do. When I have something, when I have my my phone, and because sometimes, like, let's say my wife, if I've gone to screenings before, and like, let's say my kids are sick, and I was like, okay, my wife might need me or something.
Right.
So what I do, if my phone starts ringing,
yeah,
what I'll do is I will put my phone so far on the ground. Yeah, I put it so far on the ground, away from anybody, and I'll lean down to look at it, so I know that I'm not bothering anybody's point of view, somebody behind me, somebody to the side, and just look real quick. And if it's that important, so I understand that there's going to be circumstances like that.
Yeah.
But there's people still in the theater with this. Oh, my screen is on low. I don't, then go in the hallway.
Yeah. 100%.
Don't bring it in. So I like the rule of, especially comedy shows. And I just watched a video that made me laugh so hard. Do you know who Brian Holtzman is?
I've heard the name. I don't know if I know him necessarily.
Brian Holtzman is just a legend at the Comedy Store, and he is not for everybody, but he's certainly I've seen him walk people all of the time. I've seen him cause fights in the audience. But he's a comedian's comedian. He really, I mean, he is just old, probably 60 years old now, whatever he is. Just gives no F's at all.
Wait, is this the guy that got into it with one of the comics? Shit, I thought I was watching a story the other day about a comic who's like, yeah, but I'm going to be on Carson and you're going to still be here at the Comedy Store. I don't know if that's the same guy, but yeah, a lifer, basically. Yeah.
He is definitely a lifer, but he is, but I mean, I know that Rogan talked about him recently, and he is, it was Burr. I think it was Burr that talked about him recently. He's just a comedian's comedian. He's, and so I saw him post this thing, and he was, I guess he was in Canada or whatever it was. And he's walking, and I can hear him screaming and yelling in the background, and people are walking out. There's this woman, she's staring at the wall, and they're like, "What's wrong with her?" She's like, "Just couldn't take him." Like, and he was promoting his act by all the people walking out and being offended at his stuff. And I just said, like, that's to me the I come from a different school of for comedy, where it's like you walk into that ring and the gloves are off, and it's like you have to walk into a comedy club going, I might get offended tonight. It's like but there's a new society now. There's a new generation of people that Well, I mean, there's this one woman, she's just like, you can't talk like that. It's like, on stage, you can say whatever you want. You don't have to laugh at it. You say whatever you want. And it doesn't, and you can have repercussions for what you say on stage too. If you're funny, you're funny. Some people are going to find you funny. Some people are going to think that you're not, and they're going to make videos and promote themselves from it. But my point in all that is that you've got people that videotape stuff and video things and record it and post things online and do things and can. And I just don't think that, especially when people are working on bits, I don't think they should be allowed in comedy clubs. I just don't
agree.
Think
Chris Rock Chappelle made a big deal about that when he was coming back after that hiatus in Africa and everything like that. Like, he was working things out, working bits out. Rock makes a big deal. Chris Rock makes a big deal. And that's true. That should be the understood social contract between the people in the club and the comedian. Like, if they're going to work stuff out, and you've seen comedians go up on stage with like pieces of paper, they're working stuff out. They're putting it together, and you want to record it and get them canceled or get them in trouble for that. I think it's a shitty thing to do, to be honest. Or even artist is creative,
Yes. And even if you're not, even if it's less nefarious and it's more like, you want to do, Matt Rife is on stage and I want to get his new bit and put it on social before he does or somebody else does so I can get the clicks. And it's like, but that's not for you to do. So So I understand that. But that being said, first of all, Lisa Ann says that she wasn't recording at all, right? Okay, fine. Maybe she wasn't. But even if she was, then it's like, okay, we got to ask you to leave. And then if the report was, well, we asked her to leave, she threw a fuss and she struck one of the police officers, well, you can get arrested.
It's game over, man.
But that's not what happened. At least, maybe there's more to come out.
Oh, sure.
But I don't understand. So I don't really understand it at all. But I do think that it goes to, and it's a very important conversation, again, for anybody who's coming in here to make comments along the lines of like, why are you talking about this? Because it's important. It's important as far as what are the rules of social media. What should the rules be in social media, in movie theaters and all? I saw somebody, even when I was talking about it, turn your screen down. No, don't turn your brightness down. No, don't have it in the theater. Why before the movie starts? Okay, fine. But if you're there to watch a movie, what are you checking your screen for?
Right. If you're in a crowded theater, this is really a shitty thing. I've seen people play Angry Birds in Burbank at screenings, which drives me insane. But if you're one of 5 or 6 people and you're far enough away from people, fine, do what you like. But you've got to understand that people are around you if you've got a full theater. So don't be on your phone. Don't upset people. Don't get it, because you didn't pay a ticket so that you could do whatever the fuck you want. You paid a ticket so you could sit in a room with people who are trying to watch a movie.
Be entertained equally.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you're going to be a dick, I am very happy to have you escorted. And Kristian, I've told you my stories. I've confronted people in theaters, and I have no problem confronting someone in a movie theater about bullshit they're doing because people are wanting to watch a movie. So
I always sit near Alonzo Duralde training, because I know that if somebody has their phone on, he's gonna what's the word? Not aggressively, but assertively, nicely say, turn your phone down, please. Turn your phone off, please. And it's just like a teacher, and you're like, whoa. But it doesn't happen as much on press screenings. It happens, but not as much. But like when you go on the weekends, it's like I'm finding myself like scanning the room, because it's just like, what are you doing? You don't need to do it. It's when they're with my kids and it's like this big bright screen, I'm just put your phone down. It's like, you'll don't worry, your phone. No one took your phone. But I think for when it comes to shows like Broadway shows and comedy shows, absolutely they should be banned, and they should make an announcement that if you are caught checking your phone, looking at your phone, please, they should have areas. It's like there's an area right out there that if you need to check your phone, if you need anything, but during the performances, you cannot have it because it affects the performances. I was lucky enough, dude, that when I was like in the height of going up 2 times a night for like 7 days a week, cell phones weren't these types of cell phones.
No, they're flip ups or whatever.
Blackberries and flip and all those types. So it's like, this is like, between 2007 and 2001 until 2000 and I'd say 10. And there wasn't a lot of that. I never worried about that stuff.
Yeah.
But
there's another element of this, though, isn't there, Kristian? Like from the reports that I was reading on TMZ and other places, is that she They claim that she got the NYPD claim that she got erratic. They felt
Okay.
that she might be having a psychiatric episode.
Hmm.
Of course, she's denied that because again, it helps her brand to deny that. Who knows if it's
Sure.
true? But as we saw with a certain, shall we say, we're not going to pick sides here, but a certain political candidate,
Mhm.
there are videos, there are cameras in these theaters that can show what you were doing. So you can protest all you
Well,
want.
who was the one jerking off the husband in Beetlejuice? It was a little Bobert or
It was
whatever.
Bobert,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
She wasn't even the husband. It was just some dude she was on a date with.
So I
And
mean,
so-
whatever.
Right,
So
exactly. So
yeah, I mean, we can say it. But that doesn't
That's
has
fine.
nothing to do with politics. You
All right.
jerking off somebody in the theater, whatever.
You shouldn't be
I-
doing that.
You shouldn't be jerking somebody off, especially in Beetlejuice.
It's not a kid show for fuck's sake. Yeah. And
Yeah.
in this situation, I
Hey,
think
like
there's
Tom, I want to go home.
I got a banana boat for you. But this
Yeah, right.
situation here, when you look at it,
Right.
she was in the front row. And apparently she's never met this dude, even though they hosted a podcast together or an episode of a podcast together. But so she wanted to see him. But, apparently, and I'm going to side on the police on this one because I don't think they want to escort people out of a show like this unless they have real strong cause for it. So
Right.
I
I-
wonder if someone took video of this because Matt Rife stuff. I wonder if it'll show up.
I wonder. I mean,
'Cause
yeah.
Matt posts a lot of stuff of his stuff, man.
I mean, I just wonder if they will say more about it because it's like you got to do I mean, to get arrested, it's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't add up that you would
Right.
get arrested for just doing this. First of all, she didn't even check her phone. So what?
No,
they
she
just
says
said-
her friend checked her phone, which
okay, so
No.
they just checked their phone. It's time to leave me. What sounds possible, again,
Mm-hmm.
this is hearsay, but what sounds possible is the friend picks up the phone and then they say, "Hey guys, you can't have the phone. We got to ask you to leave." And she's like, "No, that's my friend. I'm not going to leave." You got to leave because you picked up your phone, but we didn't pick up the phone. I didn't pick up the phone. I didn't do anything. I don't want to leave. You have to leave.
yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. If you don't calm down, we're going to have to call, have the cops come in, and then the cops come in. She doesn't come down. They take her out. That's very possible.
Right.
The other side of it is, she said, I didn't do anything. Can you explain to me why? And they're like, if you don't leave, you got to, I don't understand. Can you tell me why? And they don't. And then she's unjustly arrested. Also
Right.
very possible. So I think you're right. I think it just comes down to what the hell happened.
Yeah, and like I said, the erratic stuff is what you can focus on here too, because as we've seen, Kristian, I'm sure you monitored this stuff. Fans are more and more crossing the lines with these people, celebrities, what have you, comedians,
Yeah.
whatever they are. I mean, they're throwing phones at people on stages, they're hitting them in the face, they're attacking them, they're running up on stage. So, Matt is probably really adept at handling rowdy fans. I've seen his TikToks and his clips. So I imagine this one kind of crossed that line, was a little bit past the line. And so he felt the need possibly to encourage security to do what they were doing. So
Right.
there's certainly more here. We haven't seen the video. We don't know who's telling the truth, but it's a better to be cautious because you don't know how people are
It's
reacting.
true. So
these
anyway,
situations.
we ask you guys to where this is I do think it is an important conversation, hence
Sure.
why we led with it today, because it's the question is, what are the rules overall? Should
Yeah.
phones be allowed in these places? It's probably a very different opinion when it comes to generations that think, I would assume that younger generations think it's not a big deal. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's how I feel about it. I think it sucks to have phones at these places, but
Yeah.
very curious to hear what you guys say. All right, before we move on to some of these other things, I gotta talk about our man Carl Weathers.
Do it.
Dude, PLD texted me the other day when I was working, and
Yeah.
he sent me this news, and I was like, and I think I typed out no like 87 times in a row when I heard it, because not only, I was, as you and I both are massive Rocky fans and how much he meant to that franchise, but he just did so much throughout his career and certain things. And then every single person that I know that has either interviewed him or worked with him, and I work with two people who've done both. I have Coy Jandro did a whole panel with him and talked to him, and he was just like so sweet to him and nice to him. I remember when we went to I did the Creed junket, and then Dagnino and JTE went to like the premiere, and like we're talking to him for a while, and they talked about how he could have been the nicest guy. But then recently, working with Katie is sat up as much as I have been, and she would just sing the sing such high praises, and we were actually working on getting him for blah blah blah,
Oh,
which would have been amazing. I was really kind of crossing my fingers, and I was like, I never really wanted to push her too much on it, but
right.
but yet I did, you know what I mean? Because I really wanted to meet him. I saw him at Star Wars Celebration a bunch, but never really had a chance to have a conversation with him. But you just couldn't. Every single person that talked to him, which Stallone had. Did you see Stallone's thing?
God, that was I got all emotional watching.
That was tough. That was tough.
It's like watching Rocky give Apollo another eulogy.
It really was. It really was. And JTE like tweeted out the Rocky IV funeral part of it. And it was just, that was tough too. So it was really, that was a tough one. I mean, Robin Williams was a really hard one for me, and Carl Weathers is right up there, because it's just my childhood was all, I mean, Rocky and Star Wars, like my two things.
Yeah.
And Carl Weathers was, and I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, sure.
Like what Carl Weathers did something that you don't see in movies often, right? Like Apollo Creed is essentially supposed to be like, the bad guy.
Yeah.
One and two, but he's never really the bad guy. He's just Rocky's adversary. Even when he's kind of in Rocky 2, he knows, they even say to him, like, you're going to have to play the villain role here in order to get this guy to fight you. And like, he's like, I know what I have to do. He's a businessman, right? He was built based off Ali and other fighters, but like, it was Carl Weathers who just was able to turn it. And the reason why they made him such like a beloved character in 3 and then all these things, but I don't know, from that to Chubbs to Arrested Development to Mandalorian. I mean, very young, was 75 or 74?
Yeah.
So he was super young. But anyway, your thoughts on
man, it's always about circumstances, right? If this had happened while Carl was like he was like not doing much and he was kind of in the wind and we heard about it, we'd be sad about it. But it just is more tragic because Mandalorian, he was back in our lives because of the Mandalorian, and we were loving him as Grief Karga, and hearing him go Mando, all of that was great, but he was also directing these episodes, so there was like a whole new thing that was opening up for Carl Weathers this late in his career. And let me throw two things out. This is a black actor and an actor at its base foundation. Those are two difficult things to exist for long decades in Hollywood. So the fact that he was able to always find his way back, whether it was through the Rocky films into the comedy stuff, he had an Action Jackson movie, but the comedy stuff with Adam Sandler, then a lot of shows that he did through the 2000s, a lot of TV shows, and then boom, out of nowhere, here comes Grief Karga, and he does such a great job. He's like this statesman. And then if you follow him on social media, he's always talking about bringing people together and being peace. And so he, in his own way, he was trying to influence people to find a middle ground, to come back together, to come back to a place where we could sit at the table and have conversations again and not yell at each other. So there was all kinds of positivity around him, and I saw Ahmed Best's post, which was beautiful. And then you see Gina Carano's post, which was beautiful in its own way. So however you feel about that, the fact that he was able to touch so many people from different parts of the Star Wars universe in that way, in different situations, I thought was incredible. So that's what makes it even more tragic.
Right.
The heroic stuff, of course, as children, but the fact that he was finding a third renaissance here as an actor in Hollywood and a creator, it's just heartbreaking that he went. But he went in his sleep, which I think is a good way to go, man. Honestly.
Agreed. But it's just that like that shocking thing of like, because sometimes when you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, I know I heard they were sick for a while, and I knew this was coming eventually, but this is out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like, maybe he was sick. I don't know. Like, did they even say what?
They haven't said a thing.
Said anything, right? So I don't know. So it's a real bummer. But like, losing Carl Weathers is that's a tough one. That's a tough one. So anyway, let's get into some other stuff. No really easy transition to this one, but man, John, it went down.
Dude.
It went down on Friday, and then it went down all over the internet for so basically, for people who don't know, and again, this is for everybody out there. This is not just for wrestling fans. This is like an entertainment thing, and especially if you're like movies, when it comes to like what happened with Black Adam and DC and all that, it's somewhat similar, I think. So let me tell you, because I'm curious about this, because there's this whole movement now about what I will say is this. I saw a post, I think it was yesterday, by O'Shea Jackson, who's like a major wrestling fan.
He's going off about it, man. Yeah,
He's a major wrestling fan, and I actually really liked the way he phrased his one of his initial tweets. And he said, "Look, if you're pissed off that your guy got passed over and didn't get a chance to do it, I get it. But if you're one of these toxic assholes who are just out there like making death threats and saying this and doing that and you know not and just cursing people out for fuck you, right?" And I don't disagree with him. I don't agree on the take. He still thinks his take is that The Rock should be the one facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I don't agree with that, but this is what I will say though. I will say that because I kept seeing this comment that I was like, you didn't hear what I said in my video if this is what you wrote. And people wrote and they go, well, no, everybody wants the Roman Reigns and Rock match. It's a match that makes sense. I'm not disputing that of course people wanted that match. Otherwise, when The Rock came out a couple months ago, the place went nuts because they're like, oh, he's gonna face him.
Right.
If he would have won the Royal Rumble, you know, maybe you could have complained about it or whatever too. But if he wins it, makes sense. Okay, he's going to go to WrestleMania. He's going to fight.
He's got to wait.
Yeah, he's going to have to wait again.
Yeah,
but they have Cody win, and then Cody, who is clear, and then Cody has that amazing press conference where he answers the Vince McMahon question better than Triple H does. Shows that he's like the guy in general. And you're like, well, they're setting this guy up. He's going to be the dude that does it. And then it's like, no, just kidding. Royal Rumble, we need The Rock to do it. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. We need him, but we want people to stop talking about Vince. That's part one.
Yeah.
Part two is we want to make a lot of money WrestleMania. Now, what I will tell you is this. That match for WrestleMania, to me, makes a lot of sense business-wise.
Sure.
Business-wise, but it doesn't make sense in the long term. It makes sense in short term. It makes sense for people like, oh, you don't think people are going to watch that? Of course they are. Yeah. Of course, the non-mainstream people are going to watch that match, and a lot of it makes a lot of sense to sell tickets to the people who like The Rock, who are Attitude Era fans who have never watched wrestling in the last 10 years. Then they're like, oh, The Rock's in WrestleMania. I got Peacock. I'll turn it on. Of course, that's a good move, but what does it mean for the Royal Rumble legacy of what that means? What does it mean for Cody Rhodes? Like, so it just was, it was really about execution. The execution was done terribly.
Yeah. That's what I said last night on my video. I was like, look, you can have a great director, great actor, great writer come together and you don't make a great movie. It happens. Why? Because of execution. Right. Execution matters. And so I agree with you 100%. Nobody would have had an issue with Roman versus, well, yeah, maybe some Cody stands would have an issue with Roman versus Rock if you had set it up, if you had laid the groundwork, and don't give me a line that was said a couple of years ago or some inference to something a year ago. No, there should have been vignettes with the family, Roman's ignoring the family, what's going on with the Usos, Rikishi coming to The Rock going, my sons are fighting because of the bloodline. There is so much you could have done, and this feels slapdash and fixed together, Frankenstein almost like, and that's the problem. The fans would have been on board, and casual fans are fine, but look at the casual response from these outlets. USA Today is killing it, TMZ is killing it. Like, a lot of people are talking about how fans are pissed off about it. And I've seen this ridiculously stupid narrative, in my opinion, coming around where people are like, no, this is a whole work. Triple H had this plan from the beginning. He wanted this kind of negative reaction. Get out of here. There's no Mensa members working for the WWE. Let's put that on the table.
Yeah, I mean,
so for me, I think that's my opinion. So if you want to come at me, come at me. Don't come at Kristian.
Well, but I will say though, but there is a world
it's not
where they can turn the shoot into a work. I mean,
yes, 100%. They will absolutely manipulate.
They can do that now, and it's like basically saying, "Well, George Lucas always knew that Darth Vader was going to be his father." You'll never know. You'll never know. So, and which is fine if you can spin it because you can be that good with it. They should consider that. And the other thing that I saw that's interesting also is why not do Rock Roman night 1 and Cody Roman night 2?
If he wins, I suppose that's possible.
It's possible, right? If you do it that way, because because the problem with the Seth Rollins of it all is that he's already beaten Seth a few different times. That's part one.
Fourth time they're beating me.
He's on a momentum right now, Seth. They're both on a momentum that you crush the momentum of it. You ultimately crush the CM Punk angle of it all. You can build it back up later on when Punk comes back, but Punk's only got a couple left in him. You know, he's got maybe the Drew McIntyre thing. He's got the CM Punk thing. I mean, sorry, the Seth Rollins thing. then you call it a day. But it's going to be tough to do. And I think that, I don't know. I just think Cody is right now, especially after all this. Clearly, Cody is the guy. Clearly.
Yeah.
So, you give him the ball now to run. And it's like and so you had said this, and I think on Twitter, whatever it is, how much of this do you think is, because there's a lot of reports about this too.
Yeah.
We're both big Rock guys.
Yeah.
How much of this is the Rock's ego?
I think it is. And listen, I've seen some people who I follow and some people follow me that are from wrestling sites, and they're like, The Rock doesn't need this. He's stepping down. That's not true. People need to understand how creative people work, right? Like people saying, oh, Taylor Swift doesn't need attention from NFL fans. All these people who are at these levels of power and attention and celebrity like to have new audiences, or like to go back to the audiences when they're stumbling, when they're not feeling strong, when it's not going well, so they can be re-energized, or they can find a new outlet for their work to be appreciated. That's how it works, okay? Normal people who've never achieved this level have no understanding or capability to understand what it's like to be at this level. You're constantly trying to stay at that level, which is harder than getting to that level. So for The Rock, with the hit he took on Black Adam, the young Rock's been canceled. Yeah, it ran 3 seasons, but it's been canceled. He had to fold XFL into another league just to make it work. And he's taken hits all across the board from a number of people in ways that he hadn't been before. Remember, a few years ago, people wanted The Rock to run for president.
Right.
Now, no one's talking about that. So where does he go? He goes back to a place that he knows he's got a legacy, and that people love him and people respect him and understand him. And so he goes back to get recharged. That's what it's all about. And I got no problem with it. But the way he did it is where the problem is.
Yeah.
Pushing aside a hardworking guy who has spent 2 years putting himself in that position, it makes him look egotistical. It makes him look like he's a guy who only cares about himself. And look, The Rock does have that tendency, because you don't achieve that level of fame without feeling like you've got some kind of, you deserve some kind of level of.
Well, yeah. And
fame.
look, they posted it out. They posted the reaction in the crowd.
Yeah.
Brian Goretz posted it out. And the pop was there. But the other thing that I have to also say, that people will reference that and they go, look at the pop he got when he came out. Yeah, but the crowd also didn't really know what he was going to do.
Right.
Like, he came out, Cody didn't say, and now the guy that's going to replace me at WrestleMania. Yeah. And then the music hits. He's like, no, he said, an advisor, somebody who knows you well.
Right.
And then people like, I don't know what's going on. And then if you smell, of course you're going to go nuts. It's The Rock.
Yeah.
So when that all went down and the way that it played, I just think that it was bad timing also for him, because he did get everybody back on board. People were excited that The Rock was now on the board at Endeavor and was going to be working. People were excited about that. And now it's like, now is he doing a Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart? Is that what he's doing right now?
Yeah.
If he wins the title, oh my God, dude. If he wins the title,
it's a horrible decision.
He better go heel immediately. He better turn on the audience. He better go the way that he did when they were saying Rocky sucks. He should go right 180 and
Hollywood
just
Rock. Yeah, and go back to that.
Yeah. Or I guess a 360 you would completely go right now at this point. And he would just go, okay, look, I came out here and what you guys did to me was despicable and this and that. And he just turns on everybody and says, who needs Cody? And he just leans into it. That's the beauty with wrestling that he couldn't do with Black Adam.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He can do that. If he wanted to just turn and say, F all of you, he could really bring that out and do it. And then set up a thing with him and Cody.
Yeah.
That would be amazing if he's going to do that. But he's 50. What's he, 52 years old?
That's what I'm getting at, man. 10 years ago when he wrestled, he tore muscles against John Cena.
Right.
And he's older now. And I've spoken over the years with a lot of people who have been on sets with him. You see him lifting all these weights and the chains and all of that kind of stuff. That's not the same as being in ring shape. And that can affect you when you're wrestling and getting older. Not everyone can be Flair, kind of doing it till he's 80. Right. Rock remember, Rock only wrestled 6 years. He's not a guy who's been wrestling 20 years, conditioned his body consistently to those hits. Anything can happen. And I've seen this situation where people are like, well, if The Rock wins, then Cody can beat The Rock for the title at SummerSlam. What does Cody get out of beating an old Rock versus a Roman Reigns in his prime? That's even worse.
But wait, yes and no.
To me, that's even
yes and no. Yes, if they do it the same way that they did this. No, if they set, but basically what you said before, if they give us a story and The Rock is just doing this to everybody, and especially to Cody, and then you build him up even more. So like you said, get out of the way. This ain't your time anymore.
Right.
And then, but who wants to see The Rock be the one that takes out Roman?
Yeah.
It's like you want it to be a new generation guy because you want him to build. The newer generation needs that guy. But this has helped Cody. This has absolutely helped Cody.
100%. 100%.
So anyway, very curious what you guys think. And this is really for non-wrestling fans as well, too. How much of this did you hear? Did you go, what the hell is going on? Right. And I'm curious to get everybody's thoughts. So make sure you comment. Let us know. I see there are tons of super chats. I see them. I appreciate it. We're going to get to every single one of them. Don't worry. As they are coming in, you can still put them in until the last second of the show. Anyway, let me get to a few of our sponsors. I want to tell you guys both about AG1 and Blue Chew. Tell you about both of them right now. All right, guys, let's talk about AG1. You guys know I love AG1. If you've been listening to my show, you've heard me talk about them, and I've been drinking them for about 2 years now, and I love it. Never been a vitamins guy. I've told you that. I take it all one shot, AG1. I put it in a water bottle. I shake it up. I'm good to go. I recommend AG1 to my friends. I recommend AG1 to my family. Everybody. AG1 is a team of doctors and scientists. It is tested for 950 contaminants and NSF certified for sport. It is formulated based on the latest science and maintains high quality standards. You guys know they've been with us for a while because you guys know too. You've all been checking them out, and everybody who's been signing up to AG1 says the same thing. It's changed your energy. It's changed how you approach things in the day. You're smiling more. Running around the place and you're sleeping better. I know. AG1 is the supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily. And that's why they've been a partner for so long. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and you get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. drinkag1.com/bigthing. Check it out. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Come on, let's do it. Let's talk about sex. Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Everybody, you're like, yeah, back in the day, I could go whenever I wanted to. Well, now you can increase your performance. You can get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew's no joke. It's pretty great. It's a unique online service, and it delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. You can take them whenever, daytime, night. You can plan ahead, be ready whenever that opportunity arises. And the process is super simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, then you receive your prescription within days. And the best part? All online. No visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. So, for me, yes, it works. And the thing is, you know, I didn't think I needed it, but hey, you try it for a month and you see, you love it. You could be missing out on the best sex of your life. I'm telling you. They always say first impressions are important. What about lasting impressions? Do it. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. They do. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. Love that. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. You got to try Blue Chew free, but you got to use that promo code BIGTHING at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code BIGTHING to receive your first month free. Yeah, do you hear that? Free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we got to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. See? I'm telling you. There's no joke. And the hell was that? And both AG1 and Blue Chew for sponsoring the show. Links are going to be in the description here. Thank you. As I say every single time, I've seen this weekend, by the way, I got people who shoot me over some DMs and say, hey, even a few comments that I got and said, hey, I tried AG1. Thank you so much. I got something this weekend that said my wife and I tried it. We're getting on it this week. So thank you very much. Blue Chew. People are excited about Blue Chew. So send me the DMs and let me know. It helps out the show and you're going to get something good out of it. All right, Rocha.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Good. I'm happy to hear it.
It's good to see Saul in here. Saul, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, did you turn to the news?
What?
Has Saul told you the news?
He did. I don't know if it's allowed to be on the internet though.
I don't know. I did it on my live show, so if he's got a problem with it, but
Well,
maybe
yeah.
this is a bigger forum, I guess, because you're much bigger than I am, I guess.
You know, well, I mean, I guess. I don't know. I mean, well, I don't know. He didn't tell me that he could, so I don't want to say.
All right, fine.
All right. So let's get into some stuff. Let's get some more stories because there's a lot.
Peter, Zeke, we fucking get it. It's a work. You don't have to keep saying 500 times that it's a work.
Don't yell at the chat. Don't yell at the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No more yelling at the chat.
Send in super chats.
No, yeah, you're right. You're gonna yell at Peter, but if you put it in a super chat, you would have been nice to him. So don't do that.
So send in the money.
Be nice. There's other things here that I wanted to talk about, and I can't find the damn thing.
And I see you trying to pass for time. You want
I want to find the Argylle thing. I can't. I don't know where it is. But anyway, Argylle ate it at the box office. It was it misfires is what they say. Dark Horizons. And tell people right here. This is Argylle misfires at the box office, and it looks like fuller estimates are in, and Matthew Vaughn's globe trotting. Where the hell is I can't even find my glasses. This is a disaster. Right here. Fuller estimates are in. Matthew Vaughn's globe trotting spy comedy Argylle ultimately took in $18 million from North America theaters this weekend, along with just $17.3 from international markets. That's a worldwide debut of only $35.3. Despite the fact that the film hit an empty marketplace, no competition, it cost $200 million to produce. That's not Matthew Vaughn's fault. Whatever dummy greenlit that.
Yeah,
that's your own fault. Greenlit that movie for $200 million. That's stupid. And bad critics and audience reviews suggesting it won't have a shelf life. It's looking to be the first major misfire of the year. Short of an unprecedented turnaround, it also doesn't bode well for the grand plans Vaughn had for the franchise, which included a trilogy. No. At a conventional studio, the film would have had to take in 500 in global ticket sales to make a profit. This came from Apple, though, which saw its Killers of the Flower Moon and Napoleon debuted as somewhat soft 23 million and 20.6 million weekends, respectively. Those managed strong reviews, and in the case of the former and solid international performance in the latter, both are Oscar contenders. Same is not going to be said for Argylle, and despite the deep pockets, Apple doesn't want its brand associated with underperforming films. First 3 episodes of the 4th season of The Chosen, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So, hold on, let me read that. The first 3 episodes of the 4th season of faith-based TV series The Chosen brought in 6 million over the 3-day and 7.4 million since Thursday to come in. Fathom Events will run these episodes for 2 weeks. The Beekeeper came in third with 5.8, with a U.S. tally of 49.2 and a worldwide of 122. And Wonka, again, puts another 4.7 million in, 571 million globally for Wonka. That's wow. So I'll tell you, the story to me is Wonka.
Yeah,
you put in another 5 million. It's been out since like November or whatever, maybe December. But it's been out for a little bit, and it made 5. This is a hit, and it also shows that Chalamet's a movie star. What a show!
Yeah, he is
big movie star, and that bodes well for Dune.
Mm-hmm.
That bodes well for Dune Part 2, and yeah, Argylle. I could have told you, even if this movie would have gotten 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, it still wouldn't have made $500 million in February. Like what? It's a 2-hour and 20-minute movie of like a genre that looked fun. And that was the other thing. I saw people that we respect, people that we know that were like, oh, come on, lighten up. It's fun. No one's telling you that you can't have fun, but don't tell me if at one point I'm starting to watch it and I'm looking at it and I'm going, I'm not having fun anymore.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to the O'Shea Jackson thing. If I'm being a dick about it, then you have a right to come in and say, don't be mean. Don't be a jerk about it. Don't be a dickhead about it the way that you're doing it. Like, give actual criticisms about what it is. And if you didn't have fun, I'm sorry, but it worked for me. That's fair. But it's like this, we've gotten to this thing we've talked about all the time. There's like this, I call it there's like the everything is awesome crew. It's, you gotta love everything. You gotta love everything. And come on, look at everything. Everything's fun. Everything's great. It's like, and if you live your life that way, that's great. And I don't think that people should make fun of you for it.
Right.
I'm not going to be, I don't have to join your crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why this movie just didn't, and I wanted this movie to be awesome.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be part of the Everything is Awesome crew for this one because I love Matthew Vaughn. It just didn't work. And clearly didn't work for a lot of people.
Yeah. And look, that's the thing at the end of the day. Like if you like the movie, knock yourself out, talk to people, crow about it, use your social media to post about how much you like the movie. going after other critics who didn't agree with you because you're claiming that we somehow don't like to have fun or don't enjoy having fun in movies, I think is ridiculous, because you're essentially implying that there's something wrong with the people who didn't like this movie because they didn't agree with me. And that's nonsense. You know, your job as a critic is just to give your honest point of view. And as Kristian said, if you're part of the Everything is Awesome Club, knock yourself out, enjoy your likes, subscribers, and clicks and all that shit. If you're part of the people who actually go to these films and have a different opinion than the Everything is Awesome Club, then guess what? We're allowed to exist as well. And no, our opinion is not invalid because we're somehow unable to have fun. Beekeeper was fucking fun. And I bet some of the people who like Argylle hated Beekeeper, you know? So it's just this kind of mixture here. Let people believe what they want to believe. Let people like what they want to like, and stop trying to go after people who you think are personally attacking you for not liking the movie as much as you did. It's got nothing to do with you. It's not about you.
Because it happens on both sides of it. You'll see it and you'll be like, you know, there's obviously there are people who just want to hate a movie and they're going to hate it. They're going to make 87 videos about why they hate it before it comes out, and they're going to make 87 more videos about why they hate it after it comes out, because that's what their business is, right?
Yeah, that's the business model. Yeah.
Now the flip side of that is it's the same thing where it's like, and those people are like, well, if you and those people who hate are like, well, if you like it, well then you're a shill, or if you're like it, you this. But then the flip side of that is, well, if you didn't, lighten up, have fun with it. It's like, you have fun with it.
Yeah.
You have fun with it. It's like, let me either say I liked it, let me say I don't like it. What the fuck do you care if I like it or if I don't like it? It's like, because if I like it, I'm a shill. If I don't like it, then I'm part of the hateful crew. It's like, or I didn't like the fucking movie, or I did like the movie. You know, it's like you can't, that has changed. That has changed dramatically, where that's why I love that's why out of all the things I do, I really love doing the out of the theater reactions the most, for me, because I don't edit them. I literally just put it on whatever I'm saying. I don't look at anybody else's reactions. I don't look at anybody else's reviews. I don't look what any discourse is. I don't look at shit. I just say, this is what I thought of it when I was coming out. Boom. And it's like, okay. And then you for me, I either find out where people are, you know, I mean, well, I was in the minority on that one, or I was in the majority on that one, or I was somewhere in the middle. And I think that to me is how most, I would wish that people would do it that way, where it's like, okay, you didn't dig it. Like, you and I've had those conversations. Like, you're crazy. You didn't like the movie. Why? It's like, all right, I get your point. It's like, you can't have those conversations anymore.
Yeah. You know me, I've got strong opinions on these things. I think too many fans became quote unquote movie critics, and now they're the ones who are like, why don't you agree with me? They're taking it so personal if people don't agree with them. And it's like, that's not what it's about. We're allowed to give our honest opinions.
Right.
And a lot of us are very learned in movie criticism and know what are good movies, what make good movies and don't make good movies. And so we've got opinions. And people, I think this has become a thing where you see critics like they treat these movies like they're their family members. And if you say anything negatively, how could you possibly? And it's like, that's for a playground conversation. That's not for an actual conversation between critics or people who are part of critics organizations. You know, that's a playground thing. You can battle over which Star Wars movie is the best movie. All that's playground shit.
Right.
Honest professional stuff is like, okay, let me point out the ways in which this movie didn't work. All right, well, let me tell you, I liked it because of this. Great. We have a difference of opinion. I respect you. You respect me. We move on. But now it's like people take it so personal if you don't like their little film.
And it's so crazy that this conversation, I understand when this conversation happens like Marvel and DC, but if that happens with Argylle, I could have sworn that I would have been the one going, come on, Argylle was a blast. I hope you guys have fun with it too. But I was like, I was bummed because I liked everyone. I really loved everyone involved. Matthew Vaughn to me is, I just want to see him move on. One of the reasons that I don't want to say glad that it didn't do well. That's not fair to say. But one of the reasons that I think of, one of the positives that I hope comes out of this, is that he will go away from this genre. I want to see him out of the Kingsman world. I want to see him out of the spy world. I want to see him out of this stuff. I want to see him do it. The problem is that he's Apple. What are you doing? Like greenlighting a $200 million movie. Now, maybe this is obviously before all the strikes and everything too. And I think that after all the strikes, studios are finally going to smarten up and say, okay, let's stop greenlighting 200 million unless your movie has earned it, a la Infinity War, Endgame, you know, like Avatar, you know, unless it has earned it, it should not get a green light. Like, I understand why they're going to do Fast and Furious for like 200. I get giving that a shot.
Sure,
Now,
sure.
370 was lunacy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Lunacy.
Hubris, man.
Killers of the Flower Moon at 220 is lunacy.
100% agree.
So, anyway, very curious what you guys think about all this, about anything we talked about the box office in general. What say you? Speaking of Avatar, by the way, there's a lot of Avatar news, actually. Cameron first talked about, I guess he was doing, I don't know, I mean, maybe at the Saturn Awards, I assume that's where this came from, but Avatar, it's coming back. And Cameron was talking about Avatar 3 filming, and recently came the news that more Avatar filming would be getting underway in June, but it wasn't quite clear what the filming would involve. Is it additional shooting on the third one, new filming on the fourth, combination of the both? Attending the Saturn Awards this weekend, Cameron spoke with Screen Rant about where the production stands. He says much of the technology required for the film franchise as a whole is now in place, and actual filming on the third is effectively done, bar a few pickups. Theoretically, the production process should be able to move quicker on the sequels, but Cameron affirms that even with the tools in place, it will still be down to the wire to get everything completed. He says if Avatar 3 is pretty much in the can. We're shooting pickups on 3, which is just filling in the last 2 or 3%. And we've also got live action pickups in June. That's another couple percent. And we've got about a quarter of movie 4 in the can. We're post-production on 3. We're doing VFX, which is an enormous job. I'll need every second between now and then to get it done. The tech has reached a point now where it's really what we need. We make little improvements as we get along, but we're there. The whole point is we jump back. That's why we spent 7 years building to it and 4 years shooting 2 films together. It's about the technology. It's not about the technology, excuse me, but about the minds and the eyes of the computer artists. The very, very creative process is artistry. Thousands of people are involved and conducting the orchestra to get it all pitch perfect right now. Continuing on, Cameron already mulling Avatar 6 and 7, by the way. To which he says, filmmaker James Cameron says he already has ideas for 6th and 7th entries in the Avatar franchise, even as he's filming more to complete the first. And what did he say? He said, we're fully written through movie 5, and I've got ideas for 6 and 7, although I'll probably be handing the baton off at that point. I mean, mortality catches up, but I mean, we're enjoying what we're doing. We're loving it. We're getting to work with great people. I'm glad he said that, because it's like the guy's, he ain't no spring chicken, but he's still
70s, man. Yeah.
I've said this, and I think everybody says this now. You never doubt James Cameron now.
Right.
That's a guy that if he says, now, I'm not telling you that everybody should do it, but if he comes in and he goes, hey, I need $400 million to make a movie. It's going to be 5 hours long, and it's going to star no one you know. I need $500 million to make this movie for right now. I say, sign the check.
Yeah.
What do you guarantee? I'll guarantee I'll make you $2 billion on it. Sign the check. Yeah. Because he's just a proven entity. It's like, everybody's like, nobody cares about Avatar anymore. Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
I see people in the chat going, oh, I won't watch it. I haven't seen it. It made $2.5 billion. It clearly doesn't need you to watch.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't need you. Because other people will see it.
Exactly.
Be like, do you know how many people I heard say, I'm not going to see Avatar 2.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see it. Other people did. Those movies are like going to an adventure land.
Yeah.
There's nothing else like it. Even if you don't necessarily love the stories and love everything about it, you cannot deny that the theater going experience to the Avatar films are like they're like nothing else. There's no other movies like it.
There's a joy to them. You're absolutely right, Kristian. Yeah. I mean, I saw it 3 times in theaters. I saw it one time in IMAX and one time in 4DX to get like the whole thing. Yeah. It is just so amazing to watch and witness. And yeah, they can be overlong or they have simple plots. Fine. But they appeal to people in some really interesting ways. And clearly a lot of people go back and rewatch it over and over and over again so that it makes the billions of dollars that it makes. My only sad part of this is I love James as a filmmaker. And if all we're getting are Avatar films, I think there are some films I wish we could get from James that aren't Avatar before he shuffles off this mortal coil and we have some fun with stuff that isn't Avatar. So I'm hoping in between Avatar, he'll direct like some smaller films because he doesn't need the fucking money.
Yeah, but I think that you just nailed it by saying that. I think that remember what he did. He didn't need the money after Terminator 2.
Yeah.
But he made Titanic, and then what did he do? he spent the next 10 years on the real fucking Titanic.
Yeah, going
Going
underneath
under the water and doing all this stuff. Like, he wasn't even making movies. And then he came back in 2009 and made Avatar and made, I'm going to make more money than Titanic did. Nobody knows what this is, this movie that I'm making. And he loves it. He loves it. And you can tell that he loves it. He loves it. So when he says he's going to make 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, I'm like, okay, sure. Because there is no other theater experience like Avatar, because this is in Aquaman came out in December of this year. Now we've talked about Aquaman over the last couple of weeks on this show, and you got to give it its props that it just kept fighting.
Yep.
It just kept fighting, and it made like $400 or $500 million, whatever it made. And whether or not it made its profit or whatever it made, it kept fighting.
Yep.
But it wasn't the December event movie that Avatar was, or No Way Home, or that, one of the Star Wars movies when they came out. When Avatar hits, that's why anything in its way, get out of the way, because those movies are just pure sin. Those are movies you have to see in the theater. Like, it's one of those things where if you saw Avatar in the theater, you liked. Most people will say, "Well, I liked it better when I saw it in the theater than I did at home." And then if people who saw it at home went like, "Yeah, it was all right," because you just don't have that same thing. I love the Avatar movies. I love them. But I definitely love them more in the theater.
Oh yeah, they're experiences, like we said.
Anyway, so as I said, I see a ton of super chats coming in. We're going to get to all of them. Thank you guys very much. We're going to get to them. I think we'll probably do them in just a second here too. But I do also want to tell you before we jump in. And as I mentioned many times over, this is a new one. I'm so glad to be telling you guys about Robinhood. Yeah, man. I'll tell you about Robinhood. This is a new one, John. I was pretty excited for this one. I think you'll dig this one too. Okay. So did you guys know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, that you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe on Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. And that's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claims as of Q1 2024 validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial is a registered broker dealer. Thank you to Robinhood. Excited to have them on board. It was very excited when I heard that they were going to be coming on. So make sure you check that out. And the link is going to be in the description as well. And I also am very pumped to. I've talked to you guys many times over about this one. And John, have you tried Factor yet?
Factor. Oh yeah, I love Factor. I had to. Yeah, they sponsor the Cinephiles. So yeah, I love Factor. They're
Factor
great.
is yummy. Yes, you know that. You know better than anybody. Factor is delish. I love it. It's yummy. I get some good meals out of it because Factor is delicious. It's got ready to eat meals, and it makes eating better every single day. Because wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with your pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. You can have over 35 different options a week to choose from, including Calorie Smart, vegan, veggie, and much more. And there's even more to enjoy with over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. So what are you waiting for? Get started today and have a really feel-good week of meals ready to go. There you got 2-minute meals, and you fuel up fast with Factor's restaurant quality meals that are ready to heat whenever you are. And you can sign up and you can save, because I've done the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved. They sent me a bunch of these, and especially now with what I'm eating and the way that I'm eating with I told you I lost like 17 pounds.
Yeah.
And so I have these, and especially when I'm working and we're doing shows, I have them. They're delicious. You can tell that these are made by like chefs. They're just, they're the best. So there's no prep, there's no mess. It's factor meals are 100% ready to eat. So if you head to factormeals.com/bigthing50 and you use that code bigthing50, you guessed it, you're going to get 50% off of your first box and 2 free wellness shots per box while the subscription is active. That is code BIGTHING50 at factormeals.com/BIGTHING50 to get 50% off your first box and 2 free wellness shots per box while subscription is active. So thank you to Factor and Robinhood for joining us on the show today.
Nice.
Yeah, pumped about that. So
yeah.
All right, let's get to some of these questions, Sean. We got a lot. I think we're gonna be here for a bit.
Okay.
So this is good.
It's a rainy day on the West Coast. Let's do it.
It's the rain is crazy. The rain, I have last year rained a lot.
Yeah.
Last year rained a lot, but this rain last night was like heavy Seattle rain from like 9 p.m. until like an hour ago. I think it's still raining now. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, we're going to start with the first one and our good buddy Mike Joyce. Melissa Barrera keeps speaking out about current events, even though she knows it angers. What's TPDB? Am I wrong there? I don't know what that is. Do you think that she could get blacklisted like Gina Carano? I think it's possible. I think it's possible for at least a little bit as long as while the conflict is going on. I think it's possible. I think and I don't think I should say get blacklisted in the way they're just like, it's not like an official blacklist, but it's like, yeah, maybe we'll go with someone else.
Yeah, I think she'll probably limit her opportunities, but I don't think she's posting the stuff that Gina posted. There's a difference in that situation, and so I think there's a different attitude there, and a lot of people like Melissa, so it's a different situation. She's a Hollywood person, whereas Gina was coming in from the UFC. It's just a different situation.
All right, Ralph. I love Ralph. Whose 4 films were better? Scorsese, Wall Street, Wolf of Wall Street, right? Silence, Irishman, Flower Moon, or Spielberg? The Post, Ready Player One, West Side Story, or Fablemans? That's a good question. It's a great question.
Damn,
it's a great question. So if it's that's a great question. It's tough because I'll tell you, I loved West Side Story. Nobody saw it in the theater. I loved it. I really liked Fablemans a lot. I like Ready Player One better than most people. And The Post I thought was fantastic. So those are really great. The problem is The Wolf of Wall Street is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I think Silence, very much so like West Side Story, underrated film that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
I didn't love Irishman. I liked it. And I like Killers of Flower Moon way better than you did. So that's a tough one. But if you're asking me which 4 films out of the 4, which are better, man, I don't know. I got slight edge to Spielberg, but I could have said Spielberg. I could have said Scorsese.
Yeah, I say Scorsese. Only because I love The Irishman and Wolf of Wall Street. Those are 2 of my favorites. And Killers is good up until they make the turn an hour and a half in. And then the other one, Silence, is just one of those ones you can only.
I don't know if I trust what I just said. I think maybe Scorsese. I don't know. That's a very hard question.
It's close.
It's a very hard question.
Yeah.
Very kind super chat here by Chris Costin. After the news of the Supergirl casting, when do you think we'll hear about casting for the DCU Batman? Also, who would you want to play Batman? I would either pick Alan Ritchson or Joe Manganiello. So let's see. James Gunn just recently came out. I guess he debunked the rumor that Batman's the next up to get cast.
Right.
But I mean, if you put both either Alan Ritchson or Joe as Batman, who's beating Batman? I mean, they're both massive.
Yeah, I know.
Massive.
And they're not the strongest of actors. I love Alan and I love Joe. They're not the strongest of actors. So to me, I don't know I would lean that way unless you're going to do like the Dark Knight Returns Batman. And I don't mean old. I just mean massive, like you said, Kristian.
Right.
So it'd be a different approach. And maybe you don't want him to overshadow your Superman. So he doesn't have to necessarily.
Or Robin. He's going to be able to carry Robin on his shoulder.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, but I think he said he's not going to cast it. He's not going to wait for Matt Reeves' trilogy to be done to cast it.
Right.
So, but I think he's focusing on Supergirl, The Authority, Superman Legacy, and then the Waller series, Lanterns, and Peacemaker season 2, and then we're going to look at Batman with Brave and the Bold. So I think it's going to be a bit before we get a Batman.
I like the Jensen Ackles choice a lot.
It's not a bad choice.
I thought he was so good in The Boys. I thought he was so good, and I think to play like even because that guy that's just a disturbed like villain.
Yeah,
But the darkness of Batman is in there.
Make him edgy.
Make him edgy. So I like that call. Ralph, who do you think is the biggest hit and miss director right now? Ridley Scott, Matt Vaughn, Guy Ritchie, Shyamalan, Ron Howard, or J.J. Abrams? This guy's asking great questions.
Yeah,
great questions today, Ralph. Biggest hit and miss director right now. I mean, Ridley's got more misses than hits right now, so I don't think there's no hits there. Matt Vaughn really hasn't. What was the last thing he did that was? I mean, I love Matt Vaughn. What was it? Was the first Kingsman that was like everyone thought was great? So because I love First Class. I love the first Kick-Ass, the Layer Cake. But he hasn't had like a great movie in a while. So I don't know about hit because that's what hit and miss together. Guy Ritchie right now is probably. Guy Ritchie's probably the guy, I think, because he's got more hits right now.
He's got more hits.
He's got more hits. Shyamalan, Ron Howard. I mean, I don't know. This is another question. I don't know where do you go with this?
I would have to go Ridley. I know you kind of ruled him out, but I would have to go Ridley because biggest hit or miss, which means his hits are big when they hit, and his misses are big when they miss. So I would go Ridley more than anyone else on that list.
That's good. Okay, Ezekiel Barrera. Love the show. I would love more nonsense episodes with you and Brett.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think it's weird to put on a dress and ride your friends around like a horse. Do you understand that reference at all?
Is it a critic reference? Like Dom Herrera?
No, listen. So basically, I had a very simple question that I asked my friend Brett. I said, "Hey, you ever watch old '70s movies and put on a wig and ask your friends to come over and say, hey, this is gonna be weird, but can I ride you around the living room like a horse?" And gently kick you in the side rib with my boot. So we get into these conversations, Brett and I. But here's the thing: I love doing episodes like that. I love it, but I also am very aware that no one's going to watch them. We had a good debate on the show. It's everybody watches them, loves them. Unfortunately, there's only I think it was like 6,000 people watch it. And that week, the beauty of it is this show performs pretty well. To the Tuesday show is performing very well.
Oh yeah.
And by the time we get to Thursday, I get to a place where I'm like, okay, look, let's have some fun and we can goof around. And so last week we had on Roxy and DJ, and we were talking about like the simulation theory and other things. And it's like the internet is so predictable, though. They just do not like change. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like people were like, oh, is this whole thing going to be a UFO channel? Like, no, I'm just talking about, I like to talk about other things sometimes. And it was like talking about simulation theory and remote viewing and just things I find interesting. And it's like this channel has so much movie news and TV news and the stuff that I like to talk about. I love to do it. But when I started this channel, I call it my name because I don't want to be beholden to the way I was at Collider and the way I was at these things where I have to like, oh, well, I only signed up to watch you talk movies and TV. Then you signed up to the wrong channel because that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'll talk about the things that I love for sure, but I'm also going to talk about other things that I'm interested in. And I will do goofy episodes like that with Brett from time to time, just not all the time because I want people to watch the channel. It's a great idea. Next time we're gonna pretend he's an ostrich, put a blindfold on him and grab him by the side of the head and see if I can maneuver him left and right.
Wear a Viking hat.
Wear a Viking. Ever tell you that story about? Do you know where that voice comes from?
No, I don't.
So that's a friend of mine from back home, and I call him Richard, but it's not his real name. But I call him Richard.
That's good for him.
And yeah, exactly. And my favorite story, I've told it a million times over for new listeners and especially for you. It's like,
hey, Kristian, listen, I got to tell you the time I went over to Murph's house and I was driving over and it was really hot out. I was pitching close to like 97 degrees, scorching hot. And I had to take a shit. And so I stop and I pull over and I'm slamming on the front door, hoping I can use the bathroom and no one's picking up. So I had to go back. So I went back, and the latch was open on the yard. So I went back, and the shed. I went to the shed. And remember, I'm a Cowboys fan, and I saw you had a New York Giants helmet. So I took a shit in the helmet. I buried it in the backyard. True story.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Rob.
Artem wants to know exactly how John did leave Collider.
Oh, I didn't leave. They let me go. That's how it worked. A bunch of us at that time. But
and I think you drove over here right afterwards.
Yeah, I did. Well, Kristian was very kind because I was rattled by it because it was January 2nd, the day after New Year's. Walked in, Thad and Jack were the people who met with me, and they said they're going to kill the whole video division. These are the people they're laying off. You're one of the people. And I was just shocked. And Perry was very kind to walk me out. And then I called Kristian. I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. I'm rattled. And Kristian's like, come over here, hang out. We'll do live. And so he was very kind in that moment. And, listen, in the long run, best thing that ever happened because I wasn't happy there. And I have really enjoyed doing what I'm doing, and I'm lucky that I'm able to pay my bills doing this without having to be under anyone's foot. So yeah.
All right. Carlton Rudder. Imagine an alternate universe where Kristian and John never took to YouTube to be industry pundits. What could you see your counterpart doing?
Ooh.
I could see John could have definitely been in wrestling. Could have been
100%.
Yeah, probably could have been an interviewer or commentator or anything, writer. He could John, that definitely, absolutely.
I could see you being an agent or putting big deals together. You could work that fucking deal. You're good at that, dude.
I don't think I have it in me to be an agent. I think
I'm saying in a counter universe.
Universe. Yeah. If I would have taken Adderall, maybe.
Well, I don't mean an agent for like actors. I mean like at a studio putting together deals. With
like a studio executive.
Yeah,
like the route I was going on. Yeah, but
could see that.
Who knows? Galagos. Hey, fellas, just support today. Thanks, man. I'm reorganizing my offices as well. Kristian, I'm coming clean. I pulled out my phone. I took a photo of the floppy show last time, and this is my pen. That's different. I'm talking about that's okay. I'm talking about actual videos of the thing. That's all right. But as long as people are paying attention to the show, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, here goes your prick.
That's right. Ralph's.
Hey.
Ralph's. Apes Rewatch with Winston and Coy, please. Nothing more to talk about with comic books that isn't covered by every channel already. RW was a channel original.
What's Rewatch? I think.
Rewatch. Yeah, but the problem was, Ralph, nobody's watching it. Same thing. People would watch, if the big movies, people would watch them if we did them. But that was why we started doing that. What we were doing for Capes. And I like talking to those guys about that because I'm not an expert on those things. But doing an Apes Rewatch is something that we probably will do, but I don't know if it's going to be in the same way that was before because it was just a bummer. We would do those movies. Basically, what we would do is we would do them for whatever the upcoming release was. We would do like the rewatch. If it was, I think Toy Story was coming out one week, and we did all the Toy Stories.
Yeah, I saw you did for the Spider-Man ones. I saw you guys did that for the Spider-Man ones. Yeah.
Right, but Spider-Man. But Spider-Man, that would make sense. That made sense to do, right? Like when we did the Star Wars ones, that made sense to do.
Sure.
But yeah, they're just tough. They're tough overall. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. And I like Capes a lot. Mike Joyce, you guys doing okay with all this rain? Yeah, it's fine by me. I don't. It's my mom called me. Is there any flooding over there? I'm like,
don't you love when your mom calls you? It's like, Mom, we're half an hour away from the place that you saw on the news that we're talking about. Yeah, we haven't got anything, dude. It's just light rain here, so I imagine we're next.
It's pouring right now. It was hammering down. Like I knew it was coming because the other day I heard thunder out here that I've never heard before, and it was my daughters were both like, "Cool." Let's say Christopher Scott just gives $10. Thanks, man. Yeah, like I said, guys, we'll be here for as long as you want.
Yeah.
So keep them coming. Daniel Breen only first watched Predator last year, and Carl Weathers was fantastic in it. He really is. He really seemed like a gentleman. RIP to a good one. Yeah, it's such a bummer, man. Yeah, that was tough. That was really tough. When PLD wrote me that the other day.
But if he was gonna go, like, this is a good time, right? Like,
you mean
when everybody's reappreciating him again?
I know what you mean. I know what
what
you
I'm saying?
mean. I know what you mean there. I mean, like I mean, I would have I think that if he was stuck around for another 10, 15 years, people still would appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%.
I know what you mean, though. He's like, he's in the height of love right now. He's in the height of love, and it's just like, even more so that when it sucks.
I don't want to go past 76. I'm good. Like, I'm good.
You say that now, but you wait.
30
Mike's movie madness. Will The Bear season 2 get nominated in the drama category? Stay in the comedy category? It'll probably. I mean, it won everything, so it's going to be in the comedy category. But I will say that people pointed this out the other day when I was saying, how the hell did Jamie Lee Curtis not get nominated? Well, it was season 1 that was getting all the accolades. That's going to be next year for season 2, so she'll probably be nominated next year. Because then you forget because of all the pushback because of the strikes and how that was all. But did you watch the Grammys last night?
Did. Yeah, I watched most of it. Yeah,
it's just so funny, dude. I really have become this. I have become this. The old man with the glasses. I've absolutely become that because we're sitting there watching some show and my wife goes, "Oh, the Grammys are on." I go, all right. Who cares?
Yeah, I watched after my girlfriend's on a different time schedule, so she goes to bed at like 8:39. So I stay up until 11. I'm just kind of tailor-made to do that. So I watched it after she went to bed, like a couple hours, and I fast forward through it. So I recorded it from the East Coast feed.
Got it. So I was watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith last night. So I'm watching.
Oh yeah, is it good? Are you
liking it? Pretty good so far. It's pretty good. I'm only like 30 minutes in because we got tired and went to bed. But it was but it wasn't any indication. There wasn't anything on the show. It was just we were just tired.
Jeff says he likes it. So.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good so far. All right, Pete Parker. Hey guys, what are the chances that we get an Alita sequel? I really liked Alita. I really like Battle Angel. I really like that movie. I love the first one, but I don't think it made much money. Cameron's so busy with Avatar. Well, he didn't direct that. He produced it. Yeah. But that's Robert Rodriguez directed that one.
Yeah.
That to me was one of his best in a very long time. No, you're not going to see a sequel because of what you just said. It just didn't make enough money. Because my reaction, I think, is kind of when you said it, I was like, oh yeah, that movie. No one talks about that movie, unfortunately. I love that.
Well, the ones that do it's a small pocket of people, and as opposed to a big pocket, like with Blade Runner, which we found out with Blade Runner 2049. I think it could come back as a series down the road.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Maybe that's not a bad call. If you own the IP and you could turn it into a series, it's a great call. Yes, boy. Coworkers that don't watch wrestling were asking me why people are mad at The Rock. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's everywhere.
Yeah,
it's everywhere. Have you all been asked, and how would you gentlemen explain this world? I mean, I haven't been asked yet, but I also haven't been out of my house. So my kids haven't asked me. But what I will say is that you just say, look, I would equate it to the Black Adam stuff and just say depending what people are saying is essentially that he is kind of throwing his weight around, and they were building up this one particular guy. And it looks like he's like, no, I'm a bigger star and people will pay the tickets to watch me, which he's not wrong about. Yeah. But the question is, I think John said it brilliantly beforehand, was that it was not set up well enough in the story itself. And it was just kind of shoehorned in there. And it just wasn't earned. Yeah. And it hurts in the long run.
To me, it's like if you came to a company and they told you everything you needed to do to get this job, and you did it for 2 years, missed out on it the year before, but you worked even harder, showed even more commitment, and were a great company man. And then the boss goes, you know what? I'm going to hire my cousin's kid to take the spot instead of you. That's basically it. Because The Rock has the Iamia family, who is who is a legacy in WWE. So it has shades of nepotism. And so I understand why people react so angrily to it in that way as well. Yeah.
Mike Joyce. I saw The Godfather 2 for the first time over the weekend. I was underwhelmed when I first saw The Godfather, but not with part 2. Amazing. Poor Fredo. Yeah. It is true. It is a great movie. Did you wind up watching The Offer? I don't know if we talked about this. John.
Yeah. Good series.
Loved The Offer. A very underrated series. And right afterwards, I watched The Godfather 1 again, and just I was not underwhelmed. I just thought it just so great. And it's like, I'm going to watch part 2, and I haven't done that. I gotta go and watch part 2 again. So
2 is better than 1. I agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Simon's section with Carl Weathers passing. I remember Kristian talking about his prequel script to Apollo Creed. Would like to read it. R.I.P. Carl Weathers. Keep boxing. So that was my idea. I talked about this with my buddy Steve Simone. I remember being at the Comedy Store. This is way before Creed, and I was like, they
got to do a prequel to Creed. They got to do a prequel and like showing like, but you do like kind of like it's only like alternate. People are like, well, it's essentially Ali. It's not Ali. It's Ali with a bunch of different other, because he played towards the corporate side, but played it in his favor.
Right.
Like he didn't like, he was like the all-American kind of guy, but he also got himself into some shit with his talking. He was undefeated. He was undefeated. He was 49-0 when he fought Rocky.
It's the Joe Frazier story, because that's how Frazier came about. A team of people in Philadelphia, businessmen, got together.
Frazier meets Ali.
Yeah, right. And they scoped out Joe Frazier as a young man, and they funded him becoming the heavyweight champion of the world. And the difference is Ali is Louisville, Creed is LA. So there's a whole nother thing to tell as a prequel. Yeah.
Growing up on the street, it really does. But after all the legal battles that Stallone has with Winkler, I don't want, if Stallone's not involved, I know
it's heartbreaking, right?
It is. It really is. I don't want to see it.
Like the Drago movie or series. You're like,
but apparently once Stallone said how pissed off he was, Dolph Lundgren goes, I'm out.
No,
Jorge and Istra. I hope they pivot WrestleMania. Either Rock versus Roman is announced for Vegas next year, or Rock is night 1 and Cody's night 2. Yeah, New Japan did this when the champ went 2 nights. Yeah, I mean, look, the reason why to me that could also work is it doesn't just crap out Reigns. Then it also makes him relevant to where he can come out and say, I had to fight The Rock on night 1, and of course you needed to exhaust me in order to beat me, so fight me again. And then they do it at SummerSlam, and Cody does it again.
Yeah,
it elevates, you know what I mean? It elevates Cody, it elevates him, and it gives you an excuse why. It gives you both. It gives you night 1, it gives you night 2. It doesn't crap, and then put Gunther versus Seth Rollins. Let him do title for title, and let him do a whole old school thing. And they got to make one belt, by the way. They got to get rid of this stupid heavyweight championship and WWE champion. It's so stupid. Even when they made this promo, they were trying to make, are you the Dusty Rhodes champion or are you the Hulk Hogan? You're the fucking champion. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Well, they built the belt because of Roman not fighting often. They created that belt out of thin air last year and gave it to Seth. I thought it was ridiculous.
It's so stupid. It's like the heavyweight champion. The reason why the heavyweight championship, that was the WCW, the NWA's belt. It was like that was their championship.
Right.
You've got one federation. You need one ultimate belt, and then the Universal they're just getting rid of anyway. Thank God. That was stupid. Just keep one belt. You unify the titles, and that's it. One belt. It makes it so silly when they do it that way.
I'm just always shocked that these guys who are the head or the heavyweight champion, they actually do have cachet with the WWE. Like the WWE with other wrestlers, they're like, fuck you, show up, you better wrestle. Right. But with Cena, with Roman, with The Rock, sometimes it's Stone Cold, you can actually take like long times before you defend your belt. I wish Kristian would let me do that, but no, we had to constantly defend it. It was nonsense.
It's the money. Well, that's what I took the UFC approach.
I know.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Take care, man. What if Roman wins and then loses to Cody at the next? Right. Well, Roman wins and then loses. Well. I don't know.
Not the same. People are always trying to say this. Beating the Chiefs in the regular season is not the same as beating the Chiefs in the playoff or in the Super Bowl. That's the difference.
It's not.
Carry the cachet.
Yeah. Well, they've already, but the problem is this. The problem is also that you already have this shot of Cody pointing and looking at the WrestleMania sign. Yep. Like it's like that's where you're supposed to finish the story. So they just said, well, no, we gotta pivot now. And you can still do this. You can still fix it. You really could still fix it if you did it, but I don't know how they're going to do it. We'll see. Chris Cosson, do you think we'll ever get a biopic made on George Lucas in the making of Star Wars? I mean, maybe like the offer TV. I would love to see that. I would love to see it. But the problem is that if Disney did it, the question is, what are they going to do? Are they going to tell everything? Are they going to tell, I want to see all this stuff. I want to see all the stuff that he had, the problems with his marriage, because that was major. Like his wife was a major reason why those movies were as good as they were. From the way that she edited them, the notes that she gave, like all that stuff. I want to see all those different things that he went through, the car crash, like everything. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know where they would do it.
And Carrie wrote her lines too. So
Alex Fawcett, episode 3 of Masters of the Air was fantastic. Have you guys been watching the show? And if so, how do you like it so far? So I'm 2 episodes in. Have you started watching it yet?
Not yet. No, I'm starting it today.
So I don't know if you can find a bigger Band of Brothers fan than me. I love that show.
It's a
I
slow
love
tape.
that show. Dude, I loved it. I watched that so many times. I mean, I remember the bar around the corner from my house, St. Nick's at the time, where I used to live. The guys used to hang out there, and I used to just like geek out when they were there because just to watch them I love that show so much. So when I was excited to see this one because I wanted to see the different the air stuff. I like the show. I don't love it. My problem is it feels like they're playing dress up sometimes.
It's not a strong group of actors compared to what you get in Band of Brothers. Nothing against Austin Butler.
No, I mean, but he's like, I'm a big Austin Butler fan, by the way. And I'm very excited to see what he's going to do in Dune. But he's doing a lot of mugging in this. There's a lot of mugging. His haircut is from like today. It's not from the 40s. I don't know whose haircut that's supposed to be.
Man, we gotta save people in the air, man.
It's kind of what it is, and he does that a lot. And it just feels like there's a lot of dress up going on.
Yeah,
but I still like the show. I'll tell you who Barry Keoghan. Barry Keoghan, and people are going to correct me if I say his last name wrong. But where's he from? Ireland or wherever he's from? Dude, he nails the New York accent and the 1940s New York accent, by the way.
Yeah.
And I was like, this kid is just next level actor. He's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Fantastic actor. But I like the show, and I could probably see myself getting to love it but they do have my girl Isabel May in there. Who I absolutely love and think she should have been Supergirl. Not even considered. James Gunn, what are you doing? But yeah, so I like it, don't love it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, let's see. Next one. Pete Parker. Rock hasn't made a great movie since The Rundown.
Was that true?
Well, he did Faster. He did
Fast Five. People loved Fast Five.
Yeah, he's done some all right stuff since. I mean, I liked it. I mean, he's done a lot of fun movies. But a great movie. I don't know. A great one.
Is Rundown great? I mean, Rundown is good.
He's got a lot of good ones. I think Black Adam was a miss because, and I'm one of those few people. I didn't mind that movie. I agree with all of the criticisms, and it felt like a late 90s movie, but that's one that I had fun with. And like, as I said before with the tweet of, hey, I liked it and you should too. No, I understand everything that you guys say about it, but I got a kick out of watching that movie.
Okay, so I'm gonna say real quick because I know we got to get through all these, but Get Smart is a damn good movie. Game Plan is a good family movie. I thought Snitch is an excellent movie for him drama wise. Pain and Gain is good. San Andreas is fun. Central Intelligence is excellent. That is a fun movie with him and Kevin Hart. Yeah, and Moana,
Moana, right? And he's going to do live action Moana coming out. So
there's been a few.
First rate, Nate. He's the best, man. Thank you so much for that.
Wow,
very kind of you. I got my first case of Magic Spoon. It tastes great. Good. But the cereal bars are even better. Thanks for recommending it. See, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Nate. I'm so glad that people try, especially I love, and they're not even a sponsor on this episode. Magic Spoon is so good. So any one of our sponsors, I tell you guys, when you click that and let us know. So I want to know how it's affecting you guys. So I would recommend again today, as I recommend all of them, AG1. So try some AG1. Batman 11. I have Fume Magic Spoon on the way. Look at that.
There you go.
Allergic to peanut butter, but taking one for the big thing. Well, don't do that. There's the different flavors. They have different flavors. You don't got to get the peanut butter. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Thank you for that, by the way. Francisco Lopez. I love The Rock, but I don't like how he and WWE/TKO dismissed Cody Rhodes, the Royal Rumble winner, just like that. I feel like a slap in the. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? He's almost here. A slap in the face. I guess he said, John.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Slap in the face to Cody and the fans. Also, I'm hearing The Rock wants to win the WrestleMania match, and I'm not happy about that. Do you think we'll get a Daniel Bryan situation again after 10 years? What does that mean as far as like just how they kind of screwed him over?
Remember when they brought Batista back because they were trying to promote Guardians of the Galaxy, and Daniel Bryan had been essentially the fan favorite to go to WrestleMania.
Sure.
And they had booked it for him to lose to Batista, and Batista won the Royal Rumble match. So he was going to face, I forget who the champion was. And then Daniel Bryan, because of the groundswell of support, they essentially changed the booking so that he would be part of the match, and he beat Batista for the title. So, yeah. I think it was Orton was the title holder.
Okay.
So that's what they're essentially saying. Can they change the situation so that Cody is now in the title match? So we'll see.
We'll see. Matt Bull, my buddy Matt Bull. Would you be worried about Cody winning and the bloodline story getting diminished or ending if you were to WWE? This match extends the Roman chase longer. It does. But it extends. It doesn't mean that it's right. But I think what you could have done, because I think they kind of blew their load with the Rock thing, him coming out. What you could have done also, Cody comes out, he challenges Roman, and then they're fighting at WrestleMania, and the bloodline gets involved again. And it looks like, here Roman's going to do it again. And then, if you smell, and he comes out and he wrecks house, and it's no disqualification match, whatever it is. He wrecks house. He takes him out. He costs Roman the title. Cody wins, and then that sets up SummerSlam, head of the table. Because Rock's going to be around. Then you can continue the storyline, because you can continue. Because now Rock is going to be the head of the table, and now the question is, are they going to turn against Reigns? And it's like, but it's like this whole, you don't need him to have the belt in order to do that.
No, this was the way to go. Cody beats Roman.
Yeah.
And because maybe the Rock is guest referee. And so it makes that all happen. Or as you said, the Rock comes out, interferes, stops, maybe even fights Rikishi as he's trying to get involved, knocks out his entire family. Roman cannot win. Cody wins. And then at SummerSlam, it's Rock versus Roman for head of the table, as you said. And then you send Roman out into the wilderness for 6 months, a king without a kingdom. And he goes crazy, and he becomes a face down the road because he's learned his lessons.
And it's because he basically gets ousted because he's not the king anymore.
Exactly. And so who is he?
And that's the whole point of it, because he comes back, and the Rock could be running. Could be running the bloodline. Rock could be running as a heel. Or Rock, you do all these different. You keep the bloodline going, but with the Rock, you don't need him to have the belt, and you could have Cody being and then the Rock uses it against Cody down the line. And says, I was the one that got you that belt in the first place. And I didn't need your help, and you came out, and they have this whole thing about it. So, I just think it was handled poorly. Terrible. Philly G, I saw Argylle, and to me it looked like a balloon. Wait, wrong show. It's not a balloon. It's not a balloon. Magic Spoon is awesome. I'm so glad, Philly, I'm glad a lot of people are trying Magic Spoon. I love that. Magic Spoon is no joke. Good. A lot of Magic Spoon love here. I love it. Yeah. All right, keeping it going. Thanks everybody for again. John and I will be here until the end. So keep them coming. Jacob Wolf, did Argylle hurt from the PG-13 ratings? Kingsman Violence benefited from its R rating. I don't want to go out and spend the $25 to find out. I think that it definitely hurt the quality of the movie. Because there were a couple times I was like, this might have played better if it was rated R. It should have been an hour and 50 minutes. It was 2:20. It was too long for what? And then I just don't. And I have had the benefit again. Katie has been directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. They're very good friends. She was the first interview. She came in here and she sat right over there. And she was maybe the coolest person that I have met in this space. She is super sweet. She was giving inside of the interview, all these different things. I can't sing higher praises to Bryce Dallas Howard. That being said, I just don't think she's an action star.
Yeah.
She's not an action star. I think she's a great actress.
Yeah.
I think she's a great, super talented director, super talented, just not an action star. And they gave her a lot to do.
Yeah. And please don't tell me that, look at the Jurassic World movies. No. The dinosaurs sell those movies. It is not Bryce Dallas, and it's not Chris Pratt. Go and look at Chris Pratt.
What she's doing in Jurassic Park is dramatically different from what she's doing in this movie.
Right. Exactly. She's the focus of the whole thing in this one. And it just wasn't believable. And I don't think she was the right choice. It doesn't mean she's not an incredible person and can't do great work and other things. She wasn't the right choice. And it was clear from the beginning,
Yeah. Darth Vader's burnt asshole. Hot take. I do not believe that Deadpool 3 will crack $1 billion. Outside of a fighting uphill battle due to MCU fatigue, it's rated R. You're leaving out the kid side of the audience. Don't forget about Joker. Joker says shush on that. And I will tell you that I think that you are wrong.
Wow.
I
think it'll cross $1 billion.
Yes. I think it will cross $1 billion because of the fatigue in general. The MCU fatigue. I think that people are waiting because look at Guardians 3. Guardians 3 was also in the midst of all the fatigue and everything too, but people want to see it. Didn't make $1 billion, but it made 800. Do not forget the X-Men are very, very popular. There will be a lot of X-Men in this movie, a lot. And this movie, this will be and is also supposed to completely reset it. I think it'll definitely make $1 billion.
Okay. I don't agree, but we'll see.
Okay. All right. What do you think?
I think 500 to 600 tops.
No, what? All right, where are we going to eat?
No, because I don't think Ryan's as big of a draw as you think he is, and I don't. And
Put
those
your
are
money up.
smaller films.
Let's do an official bet on the air right now.
Here we go. All
official
right.
bet. So so you're saying 5 or 6.
I say 6. How about
let's call it 750.
Okay, you're giving me 750. Give me those odds. I'll take those odds.
So 750. If it makes 750 by the end of its run, all right. So you
worldwide, right? Worldwide. We're saying worldwide, right?
We're saying worldwide, 750 worldwide. Okay, so if we cross the 750, 750 breaks even. Anything over 750, where are we going? You're a big steakhouse guy. You're a big steakhouse guy. But
I don't want to be. I don't want to be basic bitch and say Ruth Morton's or Chris. Or Ruth
we can just that we'll figure out. We'll do either steakhouse or sushi.
Totally steak. Oh, sushi. I love sushi too. Steak.
All right, we'll do one of the. All right, there's where we go. So over 750.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. All right,
done.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, it's official. It's on the air. So you guys are witness to it. We're not going to find out for a little bit, but here we go. Batman. Can't believe Lisa Ann got arrested forever her phone, but if anyone can get off, she can. Very good.
Oh boy. Woof.
Very good. All right, here we go. Next one. The Raven Effect. Hey, Kristian, John, has there been any news about the release of the R-rated cut of Rebel Moon? When will it come out before PG-13 Part 2? This was one of the most baffling decisions.
Yeah, 100%.
That was me. I have no idea. I still haven't finished that movie.
Really?
I still haven't finished it. I'm almost anticipated. The most anticipated movies of last year. And I didn't even finish it. I was like, it wasn't because I didn't dislike it. I was just kind of like, I forgot that I was watching it. Like I watched it and I was like, oh, I'll get back to this. And then someone reminded me, what did you think of I haven't seen your take on it. Where's your review? It's like, holy shit, I never finished it. And I didn't care, I guess.
Clearly, if you didn't finish.
But it wasn't one of these ones where I was like, when I was watching it, I enjoyed watching it.
Right. Me too. I liked it.
Yeah, like I enjoyed watching it. Like I was like, okay, this is a cool different world. Like I didn't think there was a lot, like you talk about over the top. I thought Ray Fisher was in a different movie.
Oh yeah.
He was in a very different movie. Like I don't know what he was he in Shakespeare? I don't know what he was doing. But there was a lot of stuff going on in that movie that I was like, it's there's something there. There's something there. Why in the world, if there's a rated R cut of this movie, why isn't that the first thing out?
That's the thing that I think was a stupid decision by Netflix. And you see the reason, the numbers, it wasn't that high. Like other films beat out the Rebel Moon, and that should not happen. And it's because you released it this way. You tried to fabricate the Justice League situation, which is such a mistake by Netflix on so many levels, man.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Jacob Wolf, I see your comment. I can't read that on air, brother, but I can say that we do have good comedy. There's good comedies, but I love Roxy, and Roxy is one of my very good friends, and that's why I have her on the show. But again, thank you. If there's a way for you, if you're upset that I didn't get a chance to read that, and there's a way to get a refund on it, let me know. Okay, next one, Zach Woolley. Hey guys, I was at the show on Friday for SmackDown, and I'm a massive Cody fan, but I'm ashamed to say I popped with the rest of them. You shouldn't be ashamed.
Yeah, don't be ashamed.
Because that's the whole point. Is like I said, it's like you're sitting there and it's like boom, he's a legend.
Yes, and you didn't know what he was going to do,
right?
And also, if you're a big fan of Cody, it's with a C, not a K. So just let it go.
Oh, stop it! Stop that!
Come on, I love busting balls. Come on.
Yeah. The Raven Effect. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns is a WrestleMania's match. The Rock versus Roman Reigns is a bank account match. Triple Threat WrestleMania 40 is the way to go.
No.
Yeah, I don't agree, but
it's not legitimate a triple threat match because
it wasn't built. It just wasn't built.
Yeah,
it wasn't built enough to in order to do that. You can't just like throw it in there and say like it's like if the buildup was there, like when The Rock came in a couple months ago. And they would have started building like right away from there. And then again, he comes in at number 40, and people would have bitched and moaned if he would have won the Rumble.
Totally. And
they would have, had an argument. But the argument could then be made, look, he won.
He won the Rumble.
Yeah, and that was the thing is that whether or not you think he should have won the Rumble and Cody got screwed again, fine. But he won, and they're building up this story. Then there leads merit into but this is the way to go because this is the story. It builds. Yeah. Okay. So Josh Vasquez just puts in $4.99. Thanks, man. All right. Owen Rome. Do you think Dune Part 2 could hit $1 billion? Apparently Nolan has seen it. He said if Dune is Star Wars, then Part 2 is Empire. Thoughts? I mean, look, I trust Nolan, obviously, and I have also heard that Dune Part 2 is just next level good. But if I had $1 for every time someone said, "Oh, it's the Empire Strikes Back of," I wouldn't. John and I would, like as we said, we'd be able to retire at this
Yes.
point. But I, like I said, I trust in the fact that Nolan is not going to just do hyperbole. I think. I mean, this is his friend.
He ain't
But
caring.
This is going to be a great movie.
I think it's going to cross $1 billion. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's as good as people are saying it is, the fact that they're releasing it on IMAX early before the official release tells me how much confidence they have in that movie. So yeah, I think it will. I think that will cross $1 billion.
Yeah. Okay. Now here is the next one. There's a lot of thank you guys again for everybody.
Yeah.
The Raven Effect. Just to finish my point, Rhea Ripley should main event night 1. The ladies deserve to main event one night at WrestleMania 4. It shows how far that they've come. She's an absolute megastar.
Yes, she is.
She's a megastar. I really want to see her fight Jade. I know that not yet, but eventually. And I'll tell you that Logan Paul, every single time that this guy is about as pure heel as you get. He really is good at this.
Mm-hmm.
He really is good at wrestling. He didn't start in YouTube and then boxing.
Right.
You would be like, this is what this guy's. And the history of you watching wrestling, have you ever seen a guy that picked it up that fast?
Nope. I mean, Bad Bunny and him shocked the shit out of me, but he is way higher than Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny's impressive for what he's able to do, but he's still a celebrity wrestler.
Right.
This guy's not a celebrity. This guy's a wrestler.
Right.
He's a wrestler.
That's he won me over, man. That first match, I was like, God damn. And then this match with Kevin Owens, he took such a beating. And I was like, this is a guy who loves and understands the business.
And did. And that promo that he cut against Owens on SmackDown this past week was great. Like the way when he went after Alabama, he's about as pure heel as it goes. But
they released a thing on The Rock. You guys should watch that.
Okay, but going back to what you said, with what they said about Rhea Ripley, I understand. The question is who. That's the same thing though. They got to really, because she's going to fight with Bianca, I would assume now.
Probably, yeah.
You really need to build that up, and because I don't think Bianca to me is a great talent in ring. I don't think she's a great actress.
Oh, you mean to do the storylines
and stuff?
Yeah, I agree with you.
She did that scene with Logan Paul. It was bad.
Yeah, she's not as strong. I agree with you.
It was bad. She's a great athlete.
Right.
Really understand why she's like at the top, because she's really good in the ring.
Yeah.
She's just not good on the mic and not great in those scenes.
Yeah, I wonder if because they have a reality show out right now with her and Montez. I want to watch that and see if it's any good.
Okay. Haskell 420 I could see for the long-term storytelling aspect. Cody wins night 1, Rock versus Roman. Music hits, he doesn't show. I mean, that would be like you're giving up at that point, I guess. Yeah. Chris Cosson, what do you want to see from Tom Holland's next Spider-Man film? So we did a video on this recently, and there was that report that came out that they were battling back and forth with Sony.
Yeah.
And did you and I speak about this?
Well, we haven't. No, Jeff and I covered it on Hot Mic, but we haven't spoken. Yeah.
Okay, so I think it is, and I've been hoping that Tom Holland was finally going to get a more grounded Spider-Man film, not in the cosmics and not with the. It's just a neighborhood friendly Spider-Man story, and Sony apparently is pushing for another multiverse Spider-Man movie. It's like, no, do your Andrew Garfield solo movie, do your Toby solo movie, do a movie with them together, a buddy cop movie. Leave this one and let it do what it's going to do. That's what I would like to see. But what about you?
Yeah, I agree with you, brother. Ground-based, keep it small.
Yeah.
What's the big complaint people have had about the Tom Holland movies is it doesn't feel like Tom Holland is the lead of his own movies. And so I think this is the way you go. You make it simple. You focus on it. You reacquaint people with Tom. Nobody knows who he is anymore, right? Because of the spell that Strange did. So this is a great way to explore that. Because I agree with you. If you bring everybody back, all the Spider-Man back, then you lose the authenticity of No Way Home. You really lose it. You just kind of, do it over and over again, and it doesn't. It's not unique anymore.
Yeah, but Sony does not know.
You know that.
Yeah. Haskell, camera backstage shows him in a large puddle of blood and crimson mask. Rock can't fight. Heyman raises Roman's hand. Cody's music hits, plates, explodes. I mean, that to me seems more unlikely than Vince McMahon showing up to have a fight, because there's no world that The Rock is going to go, yeah, you know what? everybody's right. I'm not even going to show up. I'm going to let them. I'm going to let them. Rock won't even lose fights in movies. He won't.
Yeah.
There's something in his contract that he can't like lose fights or something like that. And it's there's no world they're going to beat. He's going to look like they only do that normally. That beating the shit out of somebody where they can't fight if somebody's injured.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So
unless you're Lana, and then they want to promote Becky Lynch over you.
I just think that you can continue this. I again reiterating. I think Rock versus Roman is a brilliant storyline. I think it is a great storyline. I think it needs to build. I think it needs 100%. To continue on to where they have this match, and and Roman beats him, Rock the first night, and maybe there's interference by the bloodline, and then because of it, they say enough of this. You're fighting Cody on night 2. And Cody's fighting on night 2. They always know. I mean, look, it's going to be because you can promote WrestleMania alone on Roman and Rock. You can promote it.
Totally.
But you don't have to promote that. I mean, you get more business if you knew Cody was fighting the next night. Yeah. But if it's kind of like thrown in there, like they've never done that in WrestleMania, right? Like the next, like, you know what, tomorrow night, now you're fighting. It's like, you have it planned out, like ready to go. And like Cody is ready to fight Roman the next night. That what people are going to go, of course they did that. They changed it because everybody's pissed off. And maybe that's the case.
And we don't know Roman's physical condition, right? I mean, he has the leukemia. He has can his body do 2 matches? Because those matches of Roman's are 30 to 40 minutes long. Those are not short matches. And he puts a lot of effort into those matches. Yeah. You want to have him 2 matches like that? It just doesn't. I don't think that would happen in this situation.
Jacob Wolf, I'll give you both $1 million if you can name 2 movies that The Rock has been in the past 5 years actually made the studio profit. Well, Jumanji was 2018.
Yeah,
the second one I think did good, right?
Yeah, the second one did good, but the first one,
I would say that really one. Yeah, and then I don't even know what he did before Jungle Cruise. No,
Jungle Cruise. I don't know if Cruise.
I don't know if he made money because of it was pandemic stuff.
Yeah,
so that's kind of a trick question, though. That's not that fair in the last 5 years. Give me minus the pandemic age, because who had a movie that really crushed during the pandemic, minus like Tom Holland and a few other, from 20 until 2022, who had hit movies?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
who had hit movies? It's like maybe Marvel had a few.
Yeah,
Top Gun was like the end of 2021, right? So maybe, but there weren't like many like major movies. And how many did The Rock have out in the last 5 years? So I would say if you gave me 8 years, I can give you 2.
Right.
But still,
I mean, League of Super Pets.
Oh yeah, I didn't do that well.
$203 million worldwide. I don't know how much it costs to make.
But maybe that's one of them.
Jumanji made $795 million.
When did that come out? When did that come out?
The second one.
When did that come out?
2019.
Right, but that's not 5. That's 5 years ago.
5 years.
Okay, so yes, I would have said Jumanji too,
and here's the shock: Rampage, 427 worldwide million.
Right, but when did that
Skyscraper, 304 million worldwide. There's no way either of those films were made for more than 50 million.
No, so, but he's saying last 5 years. Those were definitely before.
Those are 2018. Both of those films.
Right. Okay. Connor Pearson Ward, guys, the Rock Cody stuff has gotten to the point that the fans are booing every time the press conference graphic appears this Thursday, and that will say a lot.
Tonight will say a lot.
Yeah, right. The Raw. Yeah. Oh, yeah, but no one's going to show up over there for this whole SmackDown. They're all SmackDown.
Cody's wrestling tonight.
Cody is on
a match with Shinsuke. Yeah.
Right. Well, he's going to get massively. He's going to get booed. He's going to get cheered. Ralph, thoughts on Pitt Tarantino news? Love wants to know. Is he in the Critic? Is that what the news is?
Yeah, they're negotiating with him to be in the Critic, but they haven't said if he's going to be the lead or if he's going to be an ensemble character. They haven't said.
They're great together, so that's great. I love that. I think that's it.
Oh, okay.
I think that's it. So, all right, guys. What a packed show it was today. Thank you guys for joining us here today. Thank you for John. John, you got a lot going on in your channel, man. We tell everybody what to do, where to go, how do they find you?
Head on over to youtube.com/John Rocha Says. That's the Outlaw Nation. It's all happening there. We're having a lot of fun, doing a lot of videos and having a good time there. We've got the hot mic every now Tuesday and Thursday happening on the channel for you all to enjoy. The Geek Buddy's still going strong as well. Jedi Way. We're sure we'll be back with a new episode this week. My trailer reactions and reviews and other stuff. I had a live show last night just randomly because I had to talk about this Rock stuff. So that is going to happen more and more on the channel as well. And if you want to listen to some of my stuff talking movies, I do have the podcasts feeds for the Geek Buddies and the Hot Mic, but the Cinephiles. That's my really flagship podcast that I do with my director friend, and we talk about one great movie every week. We're right now in the season of Scorsese. We had a great conversation a couple weeks ago about Scorsese, and we just finished putting up part 1 of our discussion on Goodfellas. So come and take a look at that and join the hundreds of thousands of people who listen to that show. I'm very proud of the Cinephile. So thank you very much.
Make sure you check out John's channel. John's got a lot of great stuff going on there. I love that he's able to join us here every Monday to talk about this and more. And as you're going to see as we do the live show, there's certain topics that we find are important. That's what we're going to be talking about. Thank you for joining us on the show. As I mentioned, if you are able to, if you have the means, please consider one of our wonderful sponsors here today. It helps out the show tremendously. Tomorrow, we're back with the UAP Tuesday. Me and Mark Riley got a lot to talk about there. So if you are not checking it out, check it out. I got an Out of the Theater of Bob Marley this week. Going to be doing the Super Bowl trailer reactions probably this weekend when it hits on Sunday, unless they pop into a few more. I'm sure Beetlejuice 2 is coming. That trailer's coming. I'm sure Deadpool's coming. So we'll have some trailer reactions on the show. And then next week, Madame Web. So that and more on the show. So thanks for joining us, guys. I appreciate it very much. So Apple Podcast, Spotify, thank you to everybody who donated today. Thank you to John Rocha for joining us, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.